colors. I'm colors. Today we're going to be making the woman pilgrim gnome we're calling Poise. This is what she looks like. Last week we made the man pilgrim gnome named Buckles. And this week we're making Poise. She's got the boots on, just like Buckles had the boots on. And next week and the week after we're going to be making the gnomes that don't have the boots on. And they look like this. This is the man pilgrim gnome without the boots. They're about 14 inches tall. And this is the woman. So that'll be nice to be able to make them next week and the week after. Also, I wanted to introduce you to Tom Turkey. A little accent piece that I made to go with the pilgrims. We're going to be asking you if you think you'd want to see a short video on how to make him. And if we get enough answers in the comments below that people would want to see him, we'll put a little video on how to make Tom Turkey. So, but today we're going to make Poise. And I've got her materials in front of me. And as soon as I get these pilgrims put aside, I'll be back to tell you the materials we need to make her. Now the materials that we're going to need to make Poise, our woman pilgrim gnome, is we're going to need to have the 7-inch thin rollers from the Dollar Tree. We're going to need 2 of those. And the materials we're going to use fleeces and felts. We're going to need a 5x10 piece of off-white fleece for the apron. 2 6x6 pieces of off-white fleece for the hat. And we're going to need 3 6x6 pieces of the sandstone felt for the nose and hands. And then in the chocolate felt, we're going to need 2 6x7 pieces for the sleeves, 1 6x14 piece for the skirt, and 1 7x17 inch piece for the dress. I need you to make up a little bow like this to go on the top of her apron out of the chocolate fleece. And then a couple little bows out of some jute for the shoes. You'll need a couple of the pots. Now you get these pots. I'll stop there for a minute. You get the pots. At St. Patrick's Day, you get 5 pots in a package at Dollar Tree. At St. Patrick's Day, or at Dollar Tree on Halloween, you get 4 pots in a package. And that's where I've been getting my pots to make my shoes, my boots. So, you need 2 of those for this pilgrim. You need a pair of white socks and black socks, men's crew socks from Dollar Tree. They come 2 in a package. We just need one pair of each. You need a 4x5 piece of black fur for the hair. You need to make a little bouquet that she'll be taking to the Thanksgiving table. So we'll put that in her hands. A little bouquet of your choice. We'll be using these pink clips that we get from the Dollar Tree. They come 6 in a package for $1. Really good thing to have on hand. Some rubber bands. Some blush to blush out her nose. We'll need a 1/2 by 20 inch piece of the off-white fleece for the tie for her apron. And then we'll need a 1/2 by 12 inch piece for the trim on her hat. And then 2 scrap pieces of the off-white fleece for ties for her ponytails. We'll need flat marbles and the X-Acto knife, some glue sticks, and our glue gun and scissors. And that should be about it. I'll be getting this stuff set aside, and I'll be right back with you, and we'll start this project. So the first thing that we're going to do to make Poise the Pilgrim gnome is to make her boots. And you want to take a couple of pots from the Dollar Tree. I got these at St. Patrick's Day time. And you want to pop off the handles. Hopefully you were able to get some now at Halloween time. They sell them at both times. You want to take your scissors, and you'll see a seam running down the side of the pot. And you just want to cut down that seam. Like that. And then you want to take and make a slit in the trim that's going to catch the rubber band that we're going to use on these. So you just want to slit like that. So we'll do that to the other one. So now we want to take and just collapse the top in like that. And you'll have that piece that has the slit in it on the top. And just put your rubber band around it like that. And that's how you get your shoe. And you just do the same thing with the other one. You just want to collapse it. Bring that down under like that. Put your rubber band right through that little slit that you cut. And then you got two shoes or boots. Then what you want to do is take your X-Acto knife, and we need to put a couple of dime size holes in the sides of the shoes to give us a place to glue them together. Once you have the holes cut out, you want to take your pair of black men's crew socks from the Dollar Tree. And you just want to cut them off. We're going to use the bottoms of these socks for covers for our boots. About like that. And we're going to keep the top part for another project. So you take the bottoms of the socks, and you want to find the seam there at the top of the sock and just stick your shoe right in there, putting the seam right across the front of the shoe, and then just putting the sock right inside the shoe. So you have that seam running across the front there. Now I'll do it again to this shoe. You just want the seam running across the front. Then is what you want to do is you take and you find the little spot there that you cut the hole out. And you want to put your glue on there. And then find the hole on the other shoe and put those two together. And you want to hold them, putting pressure on them, hold them together until they set up for a few minutes. So I'll be doing that and I'll be right back with you. Now the next thing you want to do after you get them glued together is you want to fill them with marbles. You just want to keep tucking the marbles in there till it's filled all the way to the top on both sides. We're not going to put any weight in the body. The weight's just going to be with the marbles for this pilgrim gnome. So we're just going to put as many marbles as we can get into the bottom of these boots. Now I have another pair already filled up. Save us a minute or two. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and make the body that we can get glued on the top of these boots. What we want to do is take our white pair of men's crew socks from the Dollar Tree and take them, and what we want is a 9-inch body to go on top of these boots. So we're going to cut the top of the socks. Here are going to be the arms for this gnome, and the bottom is going to be the body. So we're going to cut so that we can get just the right size arms and just the right size body. So that's about where you want to be right there. We're going to save these top two pieces. In a few minutes we'll be making the arms with them. And the bottom two pieces I like to put together because when the material gets stretched out with the polyester fiber fill and the marbles, well, not in this case it won't be marbles, but the polyester fiber fill will stretch it out to where you can see like cloud-like polyester fiber fill in there. And if you double it up, it's a lot more solid. It makes just for a nicer gnome. So I like to double it up. So once you double it up, you want to take your polyester fiber fill and you want to fill it up till it gets to about 9 inches, and then fasten it with the rubber band. And then I'll be right back with you, and we'll go from there. 9-inch body put together. It's just the fiber fill inside, no marbles, and it measures 9 inches. And then you want to stretch out the bottom, the seam across the bottom like that, and just stretch it out as much as you can so it'll go nicely over the top of the shoes. I want to set down on top of the shoes like that. So just set that body down for a minute and put your glue around the top of the shoes. And then stretch it one more time, and then you just want to set that right down on top. And then apply a good amount of pressure and just hold on there for a few minutes and let it set up. And that's what I'll do, and I'll be right back with you. Okay. So next we're going to be putting up on the skirt. The body's all glued on there good. You want to put the skirt on next, and you want to get out your 6-inch by 14-inch piece of chocolate brown felt. And you want to take it, it's already, I have my piece folded here down in half. And what we're going to do is cut it in half on the fold line. I'll just cut this in half. And then we want to glue it on the long sides, the 7-inch sides. I'm going to set this skirt aside for a couple minutes and let it set up good before we turn it right side out. The next thing that we're going to do after we do the skirt and get it attached is we're going to make the arms, and we're going to use the tops of the socks to make the arms. We just cut these off the body a few steps ago. Now we're going to use them for the arms. We're going to use 2 of the 7-inch thin rollers, some polyester fiber fill, and some rubber bands, which I just happen to have a few here. So you first want to start by putting the fiber fill in the arm. You don't want to put a whole lot in there. But enough that you can put the roller in the middle. I guess my dogs are going to be noisy today, so hopefully they'll quiet down. Once you get the stuffing in the arms, you want to just go ahead and tunnel down with your fingers through the middle and put the roller in the middle. Just kind of smooth it out. And then take your rubber bands and catch that top of that roller in there. This is the end that will be attached to the body. And this is the end that we're going to put the hand in. The cuffed end. Get rid of all this extra polyester fiber fill. And I like to push the roller down in the hand end where we're going to put the hand in here. We want it to be enough of room to put the hand in there, so I push the roller down and have it go to the end that's going to be attached to the body. So we'll do that to this one real quick. Just tunnel down through the middle and put your roller in there. The rollers just make it so the arms are bendable and it's easier to position them. Once you get everything together and you're putting your final pieces on there, it's easier to position them. That should do it for the arms. We still have to put the sleeves on the arms and the hands in place. But right now we're going to go back to the skirt, which should be all set and ready to turn right side out. And what we want to do is just take it and slip it over the top of the body with the seams at the sides. It'll be pretty snug. You just want to go all the way down to the boots. Just like that. Put a little glue in the front to tack it down, and in the back. We'll set that over to the side. It gets set up while we finish the arms. Now, the next thing you want to do on the arms is get out your 3x3 pieces of the 6x6 sandstone. We're going to go ahead and make the hands and the nose next. What you want to do, they're all made the same way, the hands and the nose. You just want to get out some polyester fiber fill and roll it up the size that you think that you're going to want your nose and your hands. We'll make the nose first. And just put it in the middle of your piece. That's going to be too big, I think. And push it up with your thumb. And take a rubber band and just wrap it real tightly around it. Just like that. And then what you want to do is take your scissors and just cut out the extra. My dogs are really being noisy. We got that one done. I'm going to do the same thing to these other two pieces to make the hands. And I'm going to be right back with you. Okay, I've got the nose and hands all made up. What I want to do now is put the nose on. And I'm going to put a little glue right on the top here. A little on the side, about like that, and put it right on that stub there. You want to make sure your seams are off to the side. Got it right in the middle there. And then you have to hold that for a couple minutes and let it set up. And then we'll put the hands on the arms. So I'll be right back with you to do that. Okay, so now we're ready to put the hands on. I've got them all set out here and ready to be glued on the ends of the arms that have the little cuffs, the top of the sock. We want to go ahead and put our glue on the end of our hand and then around the rubber band. And put it right on top of the roller end and hold it with the cuff right against the rubber band with the glue on it. You see how I'm doing that? And you hold that and let it set up a little bit. Then do your other one. And then I'll be right back with you. So I cut a couple of pieces of the off-white fleece to go around the wrist to cover up the rubber band just out of the scraps. So I want to attach those pieces now. That looks a lot better. Put the second one on. I am so sorry about my dogs. They just... I don't know what's getting them going tonight. While those set up, the cuff pieces, I want to make sure to blush out the nose of the gnome. You just want to just get some blush lightly on your brush and just very gently flush that out. About like that. So the next thing we're ready to do is put the sleeves on. We want to take the two 6x7 pieces of chocolate brown felt. And we want to take the felt the long way on the arms. And lay it on there so that it's right about even with where we put the rubber band and the piece over the rubber band, that area there on the wrist. Just go ahead and get it lined up on there like that. And what I want to do is just roll the felt over the top of the arm like that. You can still see a little bit of the white cuff out there. And then just put your glue on your sleeve edge. And then just roll it like that. And then you just want to hold that for a minute. And then I'll do the other sleeve and I'll be right back with you. So I've got both the arms ready to be glued on now. And I like to, right before I glue them on, put a rubber band on the end of them to kind of pull everything together here. Put them on both sides. And then what you want to do is put your glue right in the area where the rubber band is. About that much glue, and then you want to put it right halfway across on the back where the stub is, so you have enough room for the other arm on the other side. You got to hold that for a couple minutes, let it start getting set up so you can put the other arm on, and then hold both of them for a few more minutes. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and I'll be right back with you. Thing that we want to do is go ahead and put the dress over the top, and you take the 7x17" piece of brown felt, and it's folded in half right here like that. I've got it folded in half. Like that, and then you want to take and fold it in half again. And once you do that, make sure all your corners are together, and then you just want to cut a hole in the middle that's big enough to go over the nose and the back of the arms. It's somewhere between a $50 and a quarter. Get that like that, about like that. And then just take it over the top like that. This is where you're going to use your pink clips from the Dollar Tree. You just want to put your corners together and get this positioned right so that you glue it right. You put 3 of the pins, little clips on each side. Going to be good. So now I just want to go ahead and take each clip off like I had put them on there. I'll get the corners glued together. Put the clip right back on over the glue, over the felt that's over the glue. And we'll do the same over here. I'm going to let those set up. The next thing that we want to do is get the apron out. We're going to put the apron on next. We need the 5 by 10 inch piece. Take the 5 by 10 inch piece of off-white fleece, and you just want to fold that down on the one end. This is the part that's going to be on the back of the gnome. And then this is the part that'll be on the front. So we fold it like that and then fold it this way. Fold it again just like we just did the dress. And then cut out a little small quarter section out of there, like that. We'll put that down for a minute. I want to take these clips off. And these seams here that we just made with when we glued will go to the back when we tie the tie on. Okay, so we want to take and put the apron on like that. And get out your 20-inch tie, 1/2 inch by 20 inch. It's the off-white fleece tie. Find the middle and just wrap that around to the back. You want to tack the back of the apron down just a touch there on the collar up here. There we go. Then the next thing we want to do is go ahead and get the hair on. You've got the 4 by 5 piece of black fur. And we're just going to take it, fold it in half, make sure the corners are right together. And then just cut it right in half to make 2 ponytails. What I'm just going to do is put some glue, run some glue down the inside of the fur and just roll it about a third, roll about a third of it into the glue like that, and then do it again on the edge, not right on the edge because you don't want it to ooze out. And then just roll it again. And then take a couple of your rubber bands. Try to get them in the same spot on each ponytail, obviously. Then we have a couple of hair ties. I just cut these out of some scraps earlier. To make some ties in the ponytails over the rubber band. I'm just going to knot that. It's just a little tie. Now they're ready to glue on. You want to glue them right up here. Next to the stub, next to the nose. We're going to put them right there. I'm going to hold this for a minute and then I'm going to put the other one on and I'll be right back. To do the hat, I've got my two 6x6 pieces of off-white fleece. You just want to pick it up and hold on to both pieces and cut from the very outside corner up, making the shape of the hat. You have about that much cut off, and you want to do the other side the same way. Just start at the corner. You have about that much cut off. And then at the very top, we want to round that up down a little bit. See how it is right now? But those two pieces are cut off. And just take and round the top off. Like that. It gives you the shape of the hat. Now we still have to glue the hat together and then turn it right side out. So that's going to take it down the size a little bit. So what I've been doing is doing about half of it and then putting it together and then the other half. rather than doing it all at once. And just flip it over to the other side and do the other side. I'm going to let this set up for a minute while I put a few of the bows on. We've got some bows here. I've got one that goes right here that we made with the chocolate brown felt. We put it right there. You can see this one. And then I wanted to put the bows on the boots. Kind of an option if you want to put the bows on the boots or not. And then I'm going to do the hat before I put the flower bouquet on. So we're going to turn the hat right side out. And put some polyester fiber fill in it. Then you want to turn the bottom of the hat up. If you can see with how this hat is where we're going with it. You can glue about 1/4 of an inch up on the seam on both sides. You can glue up the bottom. I'm going to do a little tacking, tack it up a little bit on the front and the back. And then we want to glue this part on. And what we're going to do is glue this part on, and then we'll put the trim part of the hat on after we get this glued on. So we're going to start by gluing it on the top of the nose. I'm going to hold that down so that can get set up a little bit. That should be good. And then you just want to put a little bit of glue underneath each seam on each side. I'm going to let that set up and I'll be right back with you. So I'm on the back of the hat now and I'm going to glue that down. Just holding that so it gets a grip. And then we're going to put the trim piece that goes around to the back. It's our last piece of fleece. It's 1/2 inch by 12 inches. Take that last piece. Just wrap it around to the back. And just tie it in a little tie. That. Well, the last thing that we want to do is go ahead and glue on the floral bouquet that we've got here. And I'm going to glue it to the one arm and then glue it to the other arm. I'm going to let that set up and I'll be right back with you to finish. Okay, she's all finished. I'm having a problem with her balance because of the flowers being on the front of her, I think. If that happens and you see how she's standing perfectly fine with her balance right now, and that's because I slipped a couple of these flat marbles underneath her feet. You can glue those right on underneath her feet if you have a problem with her tipping forward and her balance. And that solves that right away if you just put the marbles underneath there. So that's what she's going to have, tap shoes, to balance her. So just take a couple of your flat marbles and put them underneath her feet. Glue them underneath there. And the other thing I wanted to ask you or to tell you about was Mr. Tom Turkey. If you want to see a video on how to make Mr. Tom Turkey, put it in the comments below and we'll do a little video on how to put him together. He's not a gnome, that's why I'm asking if you want to see him or not. But he does go along real cute next to the Pilgrim gnomes. Now, next week we're going to do the gnomes that don't have the boots, and they're about 14 inches tall. And we're going to do the man next week and the woman pilgrim, tall pilgrim, the week after. So, thanks a lot for joining us. If you like this video, make sure to like. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe.